Alrighty. Sorry about the delay. I was trying to share the call-in link in case anybody wanted to call in. We will open up the lines. You don't have to call in. I just want to give you guys the opportunity if you want to. Welcome in, everybody. Today we will be covering the double homicide out of Delphi, Indiana, of Abby and Libby. This is a case that inspired me to start my channel and doing armchair investigations and looking into true crime cases. So this is the case. This is the case that I've been obsessed with. I hate to use that word. It's kind of an embarrassment, but it's the truth. I'm obsessed with that case. And I know a lot of you are as well. This is something that captured the attention of not just a state or a country. I mean, it has the attention of the entire world. So we definitely got to get this one right. Everybody is watching. We hear this often, right? All eyes on Delphi. I just look at it in a different way. You know, I see some folks actually fighting for somebody who may be a child killer, right? They're fighting about a fact of somebody being prosecuted on social media and in the public. Well, that doesn't count. That happens all the time. That happens with any topic. It's not official. So you got these nut jobs and YouTube creators going around fighting other content creators as if they're the jury, as if they're the prosecutor or somehow connected with the judge. Why don't you try going after criminals and covering true crime cases instead of going after YouTube content creators? Like, how easy is that? Why would it be hard to find anything on a content creator? They're on the screen. Their name is right there. Go do some real investigating or some real digging at the very least. You guys are weird. What's up, Metal? Frank Meister, Christine, Heather Marie, Diamonds, Boston, Tish, good to see you. What's going on with you, She Warrior? Hope you're having a great day at work. Cindy, what's up? Big Bird, Beth, good afternoon, Bobby. Ziggy, anything I like? What's going on, Robert? Phil, good to see you. Devoted, how are you? Don, my guy. Jill Moser, welcome in, my friend. If anybody wants to call in, that link should be pinned up at the very top of the chat there. What's going on, Candace? Thank you, Leslie. I had a great year. I hope you did as well. This one will be even better. What's up, Farmer? Thanks for the emails today. I'll take a look at them at some point, I promise. Yeah, I love that photo. Leslie says 9 days until the judgment of the attorneys. Just a formality, if you ask me. Devoted says exactly. He should be put to trial because there was enough evidence to arrest him, period. Yeah, and for those of you out there that say, well, I know Richard Allen is guilty. Look at him. He's the guy on the bridge. So what? He's convicted in their mind. They have no power to lay down any punishment on him. And everybody's allowed their own opinion. If they think he's guilty, they think he's guilty. Me personally, I don't know. He is one hell of a suspect, and I agree. There is enough evidence there to definitely hold him and try him. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean my words are going to convict an innocent man. So when you guys hear these weird Hitler-like cult leaders jumping on YouTube and be careful of that. These are the Jim Joneses of YouTube. They're not drinking their own Kool-Aid, trust me, but you are. You're over in Jonestown. Sip, sip, sip. Can I have another? Hi, my name is Don. I have an obsession issue with a true crime case called the Delphi murders. You're amongst friends, Don. It's a 12-step program. Ziggy, yes, I am obsessed as well from day one, way before they arrested Richard Allen. I mean, it was the mystery. Anybody that's ever been able to solve mysteries or random problems that arrive in their family's life. Those are the go-getters, problem solvers. Maybe people, you even do it professionally for a living, Those are the people I think that have been interested when they see a mystery like Delphi. Like, maybe I can help. I've been good with other problems and other mysteries. Maybe I can add something to this. And then before you know it, you're just completely enveloped in it. What's up, 63? Jamie, what up? Violet, Tech Death. Doris sliding in. Have my 3-year-old grandson today. Congrats. You guys have fun. Julianne, Susie. What's up, Digi? Good morning, Sharon. Happy birthday, Jamie. Well, let's give Jamie a big shout out. Happy birthday to you, Jamie, from the Sleuth Crew. Hope you have a great day. What's up, Daisy? Violet. What's going on, V? Julie, I'm a little behind. When is Richard Allen's next court date? And what is it for? Well, he's got a few different court dates. I think he has one Thursday or next Thursday for the Supreme Court. And you can always go check on the Indiana My Case. All you need is Richard Allen's full name, and it'll pull up everything that you need right there. Happy 21st. Go get a 6-pack. Devoted says, yeah, we're not on the jury, you dummies. We're allowed to have our opinion. It's not like they can put him in prison for the rest. Oh, you know what? My opinion is that Richard Allen is guilty. I sentence him to death. We're going to make an example out of this guy. So what are you arguing about? Nobody has that ability but the court. It's ridiculous to hear these weirdos. And the people that are attacking Fig, have you guys seen this? First of all, you cannot attack Fig. The dude is successful. He's good looking. His wife is super pretty. They're super happy together. They make an awesome team, and he's an awesome guy. Looks like we got somebody calling in. Let's prep for that. Jesse, you there?
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, Jesse.
Awesome. I'm gonna be listening from inside the gym. I just got here. Just thought I'd pop in.
Welcome in.
First of all, love your show,
Thank you.
and I just want to get your feelings, I guess, on excuse me, on the whole Richard Allen possibly being like leaving something near that Weber house and then
Oh,
going
the
back and the whole
garage,
motor,
the
the
garage
garage.
stuff.
Yep.
I don't know a whole lot about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've been covering this case since about 6 months after it happened. I didn't know a lot about. I never heard anything about a garage. Um, I've
Yep.
I've been very interested in the Weber residence. Brad himself, his cousin, is in our chat right now. We know a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot about that house. It was searched multiple times. The homeowners were in Arizona, where I stay. They
Mm-hmm.
met with FBI at a local McDonald's and were given permission by the homeowners. The FBI were to search that house, take anything that they needed, and they also questioned the younger son that was kind of staying there because they're snowbirds. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it is possible. It's even possible that he's involved.
Possibly. And
Yeah.
even if he or they're not, I think it's just something where being familiar with the location, like they said, he walked the trails. Richard Allen, I guess, that
Hmm.
he could have known something about their schedule or kind of just seen it as an opportunity, a place to leave something real quick. But just yeah, like you said, having them having searched it a couple times just makes it a little suspicious. I think there might be something there, but hey, like you said, he's a hell of a suspect, and they've got a lot. I work in the law enforcement field. I'll like leave it at that, and I just think they've got a solid case against him. Hopefully, there's more. I know it's circumstantial, but I think there's going to be more coming soon.
Well, I'm working right now with a few different locals, about a handful, and from what I'm getting, and this is all of them agree that the connection between the Anthony Shots account might be Kagan Klein and through his mother, not the father. The mother is from the same small town that Richard Allen is. So
Right.
we're going to try to go down that avenue. But I don't see any connection between Weber's and Richard Allen other than they like pool and some
Mhm.
strange things that Brad had said early on. He's all over that place. Like that's his playground over there. And he said in a Facebook post that he never really went on. He's never really been on the bridge.
Yeah, I doubt they're involved. I think, what about the connection between, Kagan Klein's mom and the Anthony Shots account?
Well, we know that Kagan Klein made the account. He created it,
Right.
and we're pretty sure that others were using the account.
Mhm.
And Richard Allen is from Mexico, Indiana, and that's North Miami. Went to North Miami High School, and that's
Mhm.
where Keegan Klein's mother lived. Right close by where Richard Allen was. She was very popular as a teenage girl. So was
Mhm.
Tony Klein. They were all in those little circles with Kathy. So the
Right.
connection to Keegan Klein doesn't have to be Tony Klein.
True. That would
It
be a
can,
trip, man.
yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Yeah, well, hopefully you get something. Hopefully, like you said, it's all, procedural stuff, all the things with the attorneys. I just want things to, just get back on track, man.
You think it was just a distraction?
Yeah, I mean, they just I think they just caught up in, I don't know, the fame or, like, the attention for themselves, and it just became a circus more than it probably already was gonna be, and
Oh,
I
what if
just
they thought
want
he was
them to.
guilty? What if there was really no other option
Right,
but to
they're just
go
throwing
that
Hail
crazy?
Marys.
Yeah, like
Yep.
Hail Mary, run quick, see
Mhm, and I
for
think
sure.
that's what it is. Because yeah, I think they know. They gotta know. They have a uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, they wanted to get the search warrant knocked out. Why?
Exactly, there's something there. There's probably a
Hmm.
lot of things there, and it's trying to muddy the waters now with some other bull crap, and yeah, once it gets back on track, back on the rails, hopefully inside the courtroom when the trial starts, it's not a complete disaster, and hopefully they get a good jury. of smart people, not people that are biased, but just people that'll, honestly rule however they feel. And because I really think there will be enough there at the end of the day, regardless of
I agree.
the feelings that law enforcement gets. Like, I
Well, I'm
think they
hoping
got a
they
lot
don't
of
even
good
go to
people.
trial. That's my
Right.
hope. You know, maybe now he'll kind of. Well, the prison that Keegan Klein is leaving right now, he's very upset that he had to leave that prison. He was very
Hmm.
comfortable there. So I'm hoping that Richard Allen gets himself nice and comfortable and says, well, maybe this isn't going to be so bad. Maybe I do have a life after this. Maybe I
Yeah.
will get to see my grandkids, in moving forward. So I'm hoping that he calms down, settles in, reevaluates his situation with the new attorneys. Maybe they'll give him some better advice instead of
Yeah.
trying to exploit him, knowing that he's a lost cause. Maybe they'll guide him in the right direction, and he can do something helpful as his last hurrah, I guess.
I hope so. Just kind of come clean, say what happened, and
Yeah,
I mean that's about all we could hope for. And then lastly, I wanted to ask, what do you think of the chances that a family member, possibly like his daughter, was involved in them kind of circling back to him?
I think it's probably the most likely scenario. We haven't heard from her.
Hmm.
She moved out late 2016 with her new boyfriend, her fiance. Her life is moving on while Richard Allen's wasn't doing so well. That's just another
Right.
stress to him. So I think her having a man in her life, a husband, somebody that she can be completely honest with. Maybe she had some stories to tell about Richard Allen. Maybe he saw some things with his own two eyes or heard some things, and maybe he didn't directly tell anybody, but he maybe told a friend, like, "Hey, like my fiance, dude, some crazy stuff's going on with her dad. I think he might be the Delphi killer." And
Yep.
then that's some information that somebody would come forward with and say, "Hey, look, this is what I heard. I heard that he's the Delphi killer, and he threw some things in the Wabash River, and that could be why they searched it and why they arrested him, and have nothing to do with Kagan Klein, but he still be involved."
Yeah. Yep. I think it's very likely. And as far as like him not going to trial or like them finding making a deal, I'd say like maybe 75-25. I think they'll make a deal with him.
And
What do you
I would
think?
hate to see this get drawn out into like a long trial where you got the family up there,
Yeah.
and we're going to have new conspiracies, and they're going to start reaching in other directions. It's just going to be dirty. And it's just good if you're guilty to avoid that process. So hopefully, if he is guilty, like I said, I don't know 100%, but from what I see, there is probable cause there and he needs to stand trial. But if he is innocent, hopefully they'll see that in court, and they'll find the right guy. But I'm pretty sure they have who they need, and there's probably more involved. We'll pray it doesn't have to go to trial.
Yep. That's true. All right, brother. I'll leave you to it. Shout out to you, all the work you do. Shout out to the
Thank you, Jesse.
families. Hope they get justice. Shout out to all the content creators that are good out there. You, Fig, Frank Meister, all the boys.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, you have a good one, man.
All
I'll
right,
be
you have a
listening.
great day. Great call. God bless.
God bless.
Awesome call, guys. Thank you, Jesse. Let's go to the chat. See what you guys thought about that little discussion there. Shout out to Jesse. Hope he gets a good workout today. What's up, Charlotte? Patricia? Robert, I believe Richard Allen is guilty of the crime charged, felony murder, but I think there are others involved. But Richard Allen is definitely BG and was involved. No doubt in my mind about that anymore. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty convinced, but I couldn't say 100. I couldn't say 100%, but I mean, I'm pretty sure, and they're going to be able to prove that hopefully. And if not, they got to let him go. What's up, Grace? Cindy says, first case that got me listening to any podcast or YouTube channel. Well, there was cases that I was looking into, but you're right. I wasn't on YouTube and I wasn't looking at any of these podcasts, but I was really into the West Memphis 3, those Paradise Lost videos that HBO put out. We watched them in college and I was hooked. Well, we watched 1 and 2. I don't think 3 was out. Rain Dancer, good to see you. And my heart goes with the children who should have a safe planet to grow up. But my heart also goes with law enforcement. They do a hard job, and it doesn't make sense to me to diminish their work. Well, there's always a human element, right? People are just human. In every facet of life, you're going to have, I call it the 1 out of 10. It's probably not very accurate, but I say at least 1 out of 10, no matter where you're at, what field you're in, what profession, what college, doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, whatever group you're with, 1 out of 10 is going to be a predator. Male, female, teenager, old man, doesn't matter. 1 out of 10. So when you talk about corruption, I mean, look at um, the House. I mean, the dude was a cop and he's over here helping his brother hide a murder or maybe even participated. That doesn't mean the whole police force is corrupt. Saska says they want the controversy for the clicks and views, but they'll be on the wrong side of history. They already are. I mean, we poked so many holes in the memorandum, it's hard to even trust it when you're trying to use it for helpful things like just random, basic, factual information. It's just not there. We proved that. You know, we're not here to endorse Patrick Westfall and his history of, I don't know what you want to call it, political violence or whatever he's. If you type his name in Google, you're going to find all kinds of crazy shit about this guy, Patrick Westfall. He's a very easy target. I don't know him. I'm not here to. Sorry. I'm not here to endorse him. We're here to get answers. But man, it was so easy to point the finger at people like that. It's just very easy. And then you got a lot of these content creators that are talking shit about Fig. They're like, he's helping the prosecution. And then on the other hand, they're putting on their thumbnails, the only YouTuber mentioned by the defense team. Oh, so you can meddle with and send information and work with the defense team, but shame on Fig for talking to the prosecution and trying to give him some helpful information to counter that. Just a bunch of hypocrites, man. Oh, you blocked me. Now I got to dox you. Like these guys are just showing who they are. And basically, they are predators. They feel helpless online, right? What do these predators do when they feel helpless? They go and they regain their power through a predatorial act. And that's what these guys are doing. They're mad, they're upset. And then they make a post and they list all the people that they wish that would just be their friends. But the truth is, all they have to do is calm down, stop the bullshit, relax, take a deep breath, stop being manic, and people might actually listen to what you have to say. You can't just force your way in. And me, Frank Meister, and Fig, and a lot of other, we're not grouping together and plotting and planning anything behind the scenes, guys. I assure you, we're just like-minded people. You know, we don't think it's cool to go around blaming Kelsey for being part of a conspiracy. I mean, if it turns out that somehow she was, which is basically like saying aliens did it, right? Well, that's fine. That's where the case went. That's where the information went. We'll all say, well, you got me. But the truth is, that's just not what the facts say. So for you to take that leap, you're going to go ahead and do something that's not moral because you have confirmation bias or you're trying to prove your point. You're crossing that line because you have absolutely nothing to wave in the air. Now, if you could show me something that would back that up, that isn't a shit ton of what ifs and speculation, I would support you. Honestly, I would. But you don't. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We have another call. Hold on. I'm sorry, Candace. I apologize. I was ranting.
No, it was good. A good listen. Can you hear me?
Yep, you are
Okay.
live. How are you doing?
Hi.
We have, I can say your name?
Yes.
Okay, we have Candace Fonseca. Welcome
Hi.
in. What's on your mind?
Well, thank you for taking my call.
You're
And
welcome.
so there's just so many conspiracies, and it's like really just what's going on in my head. I'm gonna just kind of outpour for just a moment. But there's so many conspiracies. But what if it's just something as simple as he told them to go down the hill. They go down the hill. They're on the one side of the creek. Tells them to take off their clothes. They start taking off their clothes. One of them distracts them. They think they can run off. So, you know, I guess Abby's the one that had on Libby's clothes. So maybe Abby grabbed those clothes, tried to put them on, and they're running across the creek, and then he catches up to them and gets them. You know, that's why the shell casing was there, because he was trying to stop them with the gun. And so what it's like, I just don't see how there could be more than one person involved, because it's such a small town, and we know how the game of telephone goes. You know, it's like when people know something, it's just like the rumor and gossip starts. And so if there's more than one person, you would think that someone would talk like, "Oh, I saw Richard do this." It just, I mean, just that makes sense.
Well, the
It's like,
likelihood, from a statistic standpoint, yes, the likelihood of
yeah,
somebody speaking, if there's more involved, it is more likely that we're going to hear about it. But it
right,
does not necessarily mean that we will.
right, right. It's just there's so many theories and conspiracies behind. You know, it's like you go and you
You're
see,
talking
you
about
know, one.
simplifying it,
Yes,
lone wolf. Yes, because that is actually the most likely scenarios that for his own personal reasons and his own whatever the world was looking like through his eyes that day, he chose to do that for his own
exactly.
personal reason.
Yeah,
Um, the conspiracy stuff with the Anthony shots and all that, the only reason I go that road is because there's just things I can't ignore, like the
yeah. I mean, it
premeditation
makes
that I
total. It also makes total
yeah.
sense, right?
But you're right. Occam's razor is that he's a lone wolf.
Hmm.
That's basically his playground. And for whatever reason, he was triggered that day. Maybe it did have a lot to do with some of the things we talk about.
Right,
Um, his brother-in-law dying, his daughter getting married, moving out. Maybe he's not spending a lot of time with his wife and his family, and he's starting to do drugs or something, drink heavily.
right.
So maybe those things did play a part into it, and were a catalyst for it. But
But
really,
then,
you don't need all
yeah,
that. You just need a
yeah.
crazy guy doing something really bad that day.
Right. But then, you know, then you can totally go back on everything I just said
Hmm.
and say it is this crazy scenario that, you know, because it's like when you hear the details of just whenever you hear like a crime, and you're always like, oh my gosh, it was so much worse than I ever thought it could be, because we just don't have that mindset. So maybe it's just something so much worse than, you know, it's like it's kind of going against everything I just said previously, but it's like that's just how this case takes you. It's like takes you left and it takes you right, and you're just all over the place, and you don't know really which way is up, because everything's been so secretive. And so
And
we're
that's why
just
you have to be
speculating.
careful. And that's a good
Right,
lesson for everybody that's watching. Don't get consumed. Stay focused. Be objective always at every turn. And
right,
my problem is, and I think the problem for a lot of people is that we've been covering this case and we know so much. There's just so much information swirling around in our mind. And when that happens, you got to take a step back. And that's why I'm at where I'm at now, where I still believe that Anthony Shots, maybe not Keegan Klein firsthand, but somebody connected to that account, assisted Richard Allen in some way or the other, or was involved in this crime. And it's just the bigger picture that I have. All this information and all the stuff that's in front of me, that is the picture that I'm seeing.
yeah. I mean, that would be the coincidence of the century if Anthony Shots was just supposed to meet them there that day, and then Richard Allen shows up. I mean, it's like how many killers and child predators, you know, are
Well, you'd be
going
surprised.
to, yeah. Ugh,
And there's a lot of folks that don't really believe in coincidences. But when you cover these cases and you watch law enforcement conduct these investigations, unfortunately, the fact of the matter is they do exist. And
right.
they get a lot of people arrested for things that they didn't do.
Hmm. Oh, I just, I'm looking forward to it being over and like getting
Me
the
too.
answers, and hopefully we get the answers. But then it's, you know, it's, yeah. So anyway, that was just like kind of what I wanted to throw out there. It's like it could be
Some
the
good
most simple
points.
thing ever, or it could be the most complicated, awful,
And that no,
horrible
you're
situation.
replaying residual dream, right? Every time I open this case, it's like a blur. Um, it goes from the lone wolf, like, okay, why did you do it? Why, if you're on those trails all the time, why that day, and why Abby and Libby? So that's where
Right.
I get caught. It's like, why that day? Because there was two of them. I don't see how that seems like a good idea at all. I don't see any. First of all, predators are pussies,
Hmm.
100%. They're cowards through and through. That's why they do what they do. They're powerless, so they attack
Right.
the helpless. Why two seems a little bit tougher than maybe trying to attack one person. So I just don't understand why he did it. And then that leads me down the rabbit hole of, this was premeditated. Why did he park at the CPS building? Why was Anthony Shots trying to meet this person? And it's a lot of these little things that we don't even know if they're facts, though.
Right.
Like
It's,
these
I
little
mean, just
factoids.
exactly. It's like you've been thrown, it's like throwing mud at the wall. You're just like, okay, there's a bunch of splatter and I don't know how to read it. There's just so much, and there's just so many details and there. And then the gentleman before spoke about the garage, and I saw something today about a garage. I'm like, a garage? What is this garage? And then, you think about when the press, because I remember when it happened and we're watching it on the news. And I'm not from Indiana, I'm down south, but I remember seeing it on the news, and I remember saying the the scene was like religious in nature. And so it's like you wonder, okay, is that where
Non
the
secular.
lawyers, yeah, is that where the lawyers got the idea, like, let's go with that, like that conspiracy, and let's do this? Or, is it really, it's, I kind of don't think it's that, but I also don't know. But it's like I'm more on your lines of either he's a lone wolf, or it's the kind of the the child predator bringing
Well, I don't
an
think he's a
Anthony
lone
shots
wolf.
and whatnot.
I just
You
know that
don't?
that's probably the likely scenario.
Right.
I mean,
It's
if you
just
were a
so,
gambler, that's where you want to be.
yeah, most definitely. Because then also, just why wouldn't somebody just rat him out? Or why wouldn't he just rat out the people that he did it with? Like, oh, well, I wasn't there alone. Or I guess maybe if he wants to make a complete deal, like you say, that they probably won't even go to trial,
Well, my
that he'll
problem is the
probably,
way that they conducted all the press, the way that they
right,
communicated with the press. I think that if you were a friend, a good friend of Richard Allen, and you knew he was the bridge guy, they gave every reason to be in denial about it. They
right,
said early on, this guy's not a suspect. And I know they say that all the time. Like, he's not a suspect. He's just someone we want to talk to try to trick him to come in.
right.
Um, but he did interview. He came forward
Yeah,
and
like
he
that,
didn't
wasn't
hide
it the
it.
next day?
Yeah, the next day. So all his friends knew that. So it would be easy to come up to trick yourself into thinking, oh, well, this is some kind of strategy by law enforcement. We know that he
Right.
talked to them. If it was him, they would have arrested him. I don't know why they keep showing him on the bridge. I don't know why they're doing these things, but we know it's not him. He's come forward.
Yeah, and it's him covering his butt,
I'm
going,
sure he used
oh,
it
I
too.
went there. Yeah, he's like, no, I went to them and I talked to the
Yep.
police. Like I'm cleared. Like they know it wasn't me.
That's his
This
golden
I don't
nugget.
even.
I think he
Yeah,
shows it. He would show it to him. Like, here, look, I have the golden nugget.
yeah. It's like
I'm
it's fine.
clear.
It's totally not me.
Yeah, it's obvious. You guys know I talked to the police.
Yeah. So then all of his friends. It's I never been to
And then the new
Delphi, but
direction presser.
oh, hmm,
Okay, well, we thought the old sketch kind of looked like Richard Allen. Now they're showing us this young person. Well, I guess I'm not going to go tip him in now.
yeah. It's like, oh, he went there, so he must be totally clear. It must be somebody else. That's fine. And just it's like I think that also, if it's like I understand why law enforcement is not being transparent, but I think that if they wouldn't make, it's like they've turned it into like a riddle, and everyone's like, ooh, I want to be the one to figure out the riddle, so it's like we're thinking about it more and more because it's been, you know kind of put into that scenario for all of us to kind of figure out. And it's, I think that maybe if they would have been just a little more transparent, like not giving you everything you need, but giving, so to where people would just, so people couldn't come up with so much speculation, if that
And I
makes
hope that,
sense.
yeah, and I hope that Doug Carter can keep his promise by telling us why they did that. Um,
Exactly.
think about it. They knew about Keegan Klein since the 20th.
Hmm.
They knew about him. So as soon as he got back from Las Vegas, they served a search warrant. They didn't serve a search warrant because of CSAM. They were serving a Delphi search warrant on his residence. And
Oh.
once they discovered, ran the forensics on the digital forensics on his cell phones, that's when they found all the CSAM, and he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots account. So they knew he was a guilty pedophile right there. So let
Mm.
me ask you and everybody watching, why did they let him go for 3 years?
I mean, the only logic that I could ever possibly come up with is so they could see everyone that he's communicating with, or like bringing more people in that he's communicating with,
Yep,
and maybe
little trap.
gathering. Yeah, I mean, that's the only, but for that long, I mean, I think like I have family in law enforcement, and they've always said, and we've always said, like, when there's a person that's like a predator upon children, like, lock them up. There's no healing it. There's no, it's in there. That's them. They're not going to change. Like, they need to just be locked up, and there's no rehabilitation. And so to let him just walk about for, I mean, I can't be 6 months, 3 years, it doesn't matter. Like, that's unacceptable. Like, even if you're, I mean, for maybe a little bit of time to like see who he's communicating with, but for that extended period of time, unless there was a reason behind, like they were like, oh, we're onto it, we're gonna get, I mean, but
That's what I
still, I mean,
think.
he's such a lying, nasty, greasy, vile person. I mean, it's gross, like him taking advantage of
When he came
children like
back,
that.
when he and I agree with that 100%. He came
Yeah.
back to Indiana, and they arrested him pretty quickly.
Hmm.
So once they had him back in custody, they didn't just say, "Okay, well, we've decided to file these charges." No, they said, "Hey, we're going to let the world know that you created the Anthony Shots account." And he
Yeah, I mean,
says, and he said, "Well, go ahead. I didn't do anything wrong." So that's when they started this whole Anthony Shots thing, is trying to put pressure on him. They dropped it on
but
social media, and they acted like they didn't know who he was. They knew
yeah,
exactly who he was.
I mean, it's just so good. But then he doesn't even care. He's just like, he just thinks he's like some Indian rock star. He's like, oh, whatever. He has absolutely no remorse, and he just makes up lies and wants the attention. I mean, just a complete narcissist, and just gross, just
And
absolutely gross.
if he's working on a deal, with Nick McClelland, he's
Mm.
gonna the way his mind works. I believe he would be trying to do like misinformation, thinking he's helping.
Oh yeah, and he's such a he's such a liar. Like, everything I hear about him is just lies, lies, lies. And I think that he probably like believes his own lies. He's just really like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was wearing red that day, and the guy was really wearing blue. It's like, whatever is his reality, and it doesn't matter. And he's just going to convince himself, and think that he can convince anybody else, you know, whatever garbage is going to come out of his mouth. And he knows that his stories aren't consistent, but he doesn't care, because he's like, well, I'm a liar, and it doesn't matter, who cares? Because
And things that
he
he
literally doesn't care.
and the things that he would tell Murder Sheet, like, what did he say during those interviews? Oh, they didn't believe what I said, or they couldn't cooperate what I was saying. To me, I
Mm,
think that that's his misinformation. They didn't believe me. That's him trying to help.
yeah, it's he's just a vile person that I'm just glad he's locked up, and 40 years wasn't even enough. I mean, just the stupid flipping off the cameras when he got his conviction and got sentenced. It was like, okay,
Hmm.
have fun, have fun in jail or prison. But yeah, so anyway, well, I have to get back to work, but I just wanted to call.
Thank
I
you,
was really scared
Candace.
to call in, but I'm
I
glad that I did.
appreciate that. Yeah, great
Absolutely.
call. Thank you. You have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much. You too.
Take care.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye. Great job. Another great call. Yeah, just looking at everything, I just can't help but think that this killer is connected to the Anthony Shots account. It's just the way I feel. Boy, mom, y'all are nuts if you think that man is going to get a fair trial. Who knows? I'm not part of the trial. I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. I'm not even a resident of Indiana. So, what difference does it make what I think about it? I'm not part of the jury. I guess we should just scrap the whole US government and just be an anarchy then. I mean, what are you talking about? I guess no trials are fair then. Maybe that's true. Anna says various descriptions of the structure on the Weber property include shed, shack, mudroom, garden shed, supposedly not a garage. I don't know. I feel like a shed could be used as a garage, depending how big it is. The man has been threatened by law enforcement into a confession for crying out loud. Oh, so you believe the defense memo 100%, but not the prosecution. See, you're nowhere near the middle. You're radical to one side completely. So you're just as bad as the folks who are saying that he's guilty because you're saying he's innocent. And you're all emotional about it. For God's sakes. What's wrong with you people? I'm using my logic, not my emotion. That's what's wrong with me. Hey, what's up, Jeff? I keep thinking, is it more likely that there are Odinists in the police force or that there are Odinists in the search party that went looking for the girls? Honestly, I don't concern myself with Odinists. We've seen the F tree, right? Is that an F? I don't know. It doesn't look like an F to me. I look up at the clouds and I see lots of things. That doesn't mean that's what it might be in the shape, similar to an F. Is it an F? How hard is it to make a good looking F? It's not that hard. It's one line that goes down and then two that go laterally. Super simple. So I just don't subscribe to the Odinist theory at all, honestly. So if you guys want a conspiracy to run after, do you remember Garrett Kurtz where he said that somebody named Nick Edwards and Sheena Cottrell were going around telling Ashley Garth that they had videos of the Delphi murders? Well, if you go look at Nick Edwards' Facebook, he's an Odinist. Oh, dun dun dun. Go have fun with that. Well, you have to have a foundation, right? The foundation would be that the crime scene, those are ruins, and Libby's tree is an F-shaped ruin. You would have to believe that to even take another step down that road. And unfortunately, I'm not convinced. Not even a little bit. Amanda says maybe the original plan was to get the girls down the hill, across the private drive, onto the Weber property. But they ran and the offender had to stop them before they raised the alarm. It's possible. Boy Mom says he won't get a fair trial. How do you know that? Sound like somebody's been thinking for you. You should think for yourself just this one time. Look at all of the facts. He might be innocent. But he's definitely, and will he get a fair trial? I don't know. I don't think everybody gets a fair trial. But to say that he won't, like, how would you even know that? You're just showing your bias. That's it. Jamie says somebody's triggered. I'm seeing a lot of alt accounts. Oh, is that what that is? Well, no, I've seen Boy Mom before. She hangs out here sometimes, I thought. Could be wrong. Jane from the country. If KK catfished the girls, law enforcement could have arrested him by now, in my opinion. Well, the thing is, they knew about Anthony's shots. They knew about it from day one. We didn't know about it. They did. And they sat on it. It was one of their aces. They had a couple aces. They had the unspent bullet. They had the video. They had the audio. And they had that information, the Anthony shots information. And I still believe they think it's 100% connected. I also think, well, I'm not sure if that's what led to the arrest of Richard Allen, but could have. It's a miscarriage of justice. Okay, let me ask you this. What if Richard Allen is guilty of killing Abby and Libby? What about that? How do you feel about that? Let me hear your comment on that. Do you think he's innocent? Nobody's going to kill Richard Allen. Man, some of you folks are just living in conspiracy land. And I know that there are conspiracies and I'm sure our government is part of a vast conspiracy. I don't doubt that, but not everything is a conspiracy, right? Looks like we do have another caller. Hey, what's up, Cynthia?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Not anymore. Sorry, Cynthia, we lost you. No audio from Cynthia. Call back, Cynthia. Call back right now. Maybe we just need to reload you. All right, we're going to try again with Cynthia, see what she has to say. Lori Vallow Daybell got a fair trial here in Idaho. One juror, for instance, was building a cabin in the wilderness during the lockdown and hadn't followed the news. Oh, that's a perfect juror. I want 12 recluses. If they're not living off the grid, I do not want them on my panel. Try to call back if you can. I think we got time for maybe two more calls. Jamie says Andrew Baldwin working with the knot is a miscarriage of justice. I don't think so. I think you should be able to tap into any facet. You know, I think you should be able to, anything that's flowing with information, be able to tap into. It's just the hypocrisy, man. Like, I just don't understand how people eat that shit up. Like, you spend one of these content creators that's talking about figs spent like, I think it was like 2 months bragging about how they were helping the defense and how they were now we're talking about helping somebody who's been arrested for murdering 2 children. You know, they've gone through a whole process of checks and balances to ensure that there was probable cause, right? And they do their best to break that down. But the truth is, there's a chance that he killed Abby and Libby. And you will forever be the one who stood up for this guy. You stood in his corner and you said, not only is he innocent, but he's being railroaded. So that'll be who you are. CJK says, no, it's not. His shoddy former attorneys did harm, but the trial will happen more than likely, and the trial will be fair. You hope it's fair. And if he is innocent, you hope that they can prove that. No way, Jose. Jane from the country. Richard Allen placed himself at the Monon High Bridge that day. Well, so did a handful of people. Seems likely to me the possible daughter tip. Yeah, I think that's very possible. I mean, it would make sense. You know, she moved out the second she had a chance. There could be secrets in that home. You know, it could maybe go to a little bit of the motive or his character. Might be right, V. Yeah, each to their own. That's the part I don't understand. This is just my opinion. Why do you feel like you need to attack me for my opinion? I've listed all of these really good reasons to why I believe what I believe. Anna says, it has been said that Richard Allen's admissions were, I am guilty as charged. Without details, that's no better than a false confession. Well, there's no details for you and I, which doesn't matter, right? The jury's going to have all of those details. And we'll probably have that transcript before too long. I'm sure there's some folks working on that right now. We know there's a transcript of his confession. That should be made public. Unless he's giving other names and it goes to another open investigation. Make sure this is the right Frank.
Yes, it is, bro.
What up, Frank Meister? Welcome in, my friend.
What's going on, buddy?
What's good?
I just wanted to give my opinion.
I'm listening.
I think Richard Allen's more, since this debacle's all been going on and his attorneys had a lot of time to go speak with him, I feel like that there will not be a trial. I feel like that he's going to end up doing a change of plea. There's just too much evidence pointing directly at Richard Allen right now that we can't get by. You know, with his statements, with the transcript, the phone calls, the bullet, you know, what else does everybody need?
And I also remember the defense kind of crying towards the end there before they got booted off, that they hadn't received all the discovery yet. There was still a lot that they hadn't seen.
I don't believe that at all, because according to Judge, they had to have it all turned over by November 1st, which they did.
I thought they I think the prosecution asked for like an extension on that or something.
They might, yeah, they might have. I just don't recall. So much shit.
I'll look back on that. I keep bringing that up and I just can't verify it, but that my recollection tells me that.
Right. So, yeah, and then all this doxing going on with me, you, and Fig right now is ridiculous too.
Well, they're hitting Fig hard right now, and it's weird to see some of these content creators. They put like Fig's face up on their banner or whatever. Imagine having another man's face on your YouTube banner.
Right.
Isn't
And
that
I mean,
weird?
I want to agree with you what you said earlier with me, you, and Fig. We're not doing anything behind the scenes, but just talking about information that we have and throwing ideas at each other. That's all we do, guys. It's not like we're conspiring against anybody. We're not. We just sit back. We have discussions between us three and talk about things that are out there and what we should do with it, what not to do with it, you know. And like, I got that email I sent to you the other day, Sleuth. I sent it to Fig too, and he said, just ignore it. And that's exactly what I've done. Claiming another arrest is getting ready to happen in the case.
Yeah, they're just trolling. They love it.
Yeah.
They're like to sit back and watch it.
They're trying to get me to put misinformation out there. And I was like, are you guys idiots? You really think I'm going to fall for your little game? You know? So I just left it at that. But
yeah, I mean, it's getting ugly.
It is.
Man, they really are. They're jealous of Fig. It's got to be the documentary. I mean, that documentary kind of set YouTube on fire a little bit. I don't know if it was that, or I don't know why they're up his ass right now.
I think it's because of possible he has contact with Nick McClelland, which a lot of us do. You know, I only contact certain individuals if need be. You know, I'm not in direct contact with them every day. So, I mean, I've left him messages and I've talked to him in person a couple times, you know, but that's about it. I try not to bother Nick because he's got too much on his plate as it is. If I've
what do
got
you think's the difference of you sending information to Nick or one of these other weirdos sending information to the defense? Is there a difference there?
No, there is no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, all is love and war. You know how that works, man. If one side's going to do it, the other side's going to do it. So that's just how this game works. So, but these people that are on the high horse with the defense and everything, they need to go away because they're just making more problems for themselves than they are with anybody else.
Well, they're going after content creators. What do content creators have to do with anything?
Right. I mean, it's just like little Frank, claiming I was a master leaker, this and that. How am I the one getting all the documents before everybody else?
What was the end game, though? Let's say you were some kind of leaker. What then?
A good question. What is the end game?
So, okay, you leaked it. Are you supposed to apologize or something? Like, I don't understand.
Right. And we can't help that, like me, you, Fig, and some other creators have learned the ropes on how to get stuff that we need without other creators getting all pissed off because they want to work with us and want us to help them. Well, the way I look at things, man, is I'm not going to work with a immature person like that who doesn't have any type of empathy for nobody, who doesn't know how to speak to people, who doesn't show any professionalism whatsoever on his channel.
Another hypocrite. He accuses everybody of doing things, but really he's guilty of those same things.
Exactly. And I made that very clear to him why I wouldn't work with him. Then he saw me and you do part 5 of our Delphi, and it really pissed him off. And that's when he really snapped, is right after that.
Well, the first time I ever got an email from that weird guy, I never even met the guy. It was just like an email from him out of random, and I was live, and it was like, you need to get me on this panel. Like, first of all, bro, I don't know who the fuck you are. It was right then and there I knew I didn't like the guy. And it's all about how you carry yourself. He's not professional. I even gave him a second chance. I was like, I'll give this guy a second chance. So the bridge has been burned on that.
Yeah,
that tactic doesn't work with me. It doesn't work with me. Calling me out, he's just trying to grab attention from all of those viewers from all of those channels. It's an old, dirty YouTube tactic.
Right. Exactly. And see, I gave him a second chance too, and he blew it right out the gate, and that was it for me.
Who cares? I'm not looking to work with anybody new. As a matter of fact, I've stepped back quite a bit. I just want to present the facts out here for all the viewers, and then we can discuss it together.
Right.
About a year ago, if you noticed, I wasn't really poking around with all you guys. You, Fig, everybody else who was digging. And Fig has an uncanny ability to. You guys probably don't know half of the shit that he knows. And he's not going to tell us, but that's because he's a professional. He has contacts and he knows how to play that long game. He's not going in people's emails saying, get me on that panel. You know what I mean? He's putting in the work. He's not attacking YouTube content creators. Like, how easy would that be all day? Oh, you're the leaker. Well, my face is right here for you to attack. I'm on a platform. Why don't you actually try doing some investigating and digging that doesn't involve YouTube content creator? Why don't you go dig into a case? Dig into Abby and Libby's actual case, not the people that are covering it. What the fuck are they going to do to help you get this any further? Nothing, because you don't plan to get the case any further. You're just a shit talker.
That's my whole point, dude. And that's what I've been preaching here the last few lives of mine with this kid. I said, look, man, you're not just going to get everything handed to you like you think you deserve. It doesn't work like that. I had to start at the bottom. Sleuth had to start at the bottom. Fig had to start at the bottom. So what makes you so damn special that you can go right to the top and get everything that everybody's worked for the last 7 years?
Yeah, I never contacted Becky. She contacted me.
She reached out to me, yes, because she knew I was getting the documents, and she asked me, anytime you get them, would you please send them to me? And I said, I sure will, and I promised her that, and I'll continue to do it for her.
Yeah, she called me to warn me about Julie Melvin.
So and that's where our relationship started, is when she contacted me about documents. Why he's so jealous of that, I can't help that, dude. I'm not going to break off the rapport that I have with Becky just to satisfy you, man. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done talking about that guy. Let's go back to the case.
All right, good. But yeah, like I said, my own opinion is that there will not be a trial. I think the attorneys he's got now has worked on him long enough to where I believe that he's going to end up doing a change of plea sooner or later.
What do you think about him going to this the new prison, Wabash Valley, Keegan Klein, saying, "Oh man, I'm going to miss this place"? He was acting like he was at camp or something. From
what I've been told, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Richard Allen gets nice and comfy, realizes, hey, this is my future now. Maybe I still have a life in here. Maybe this is where I was headed since day one. And he just comes forward and tells us what the hell happened. Or he goes to
That's what I would
trial.
like.
They go to
That's what I
trial,
would
they
like
present
to
the
see happen.
evidence, and maybe he's even innocent. I don't. Who knows? You got to have a trial for that.
But that's like we said, we can never say 100% that it's him. We can say 99%, which still leaves that 1% saying it's not him. You'll never see any of us creators say we know for a fact it's him. We'll
And
say
who? And even if
99%.
we did, what difference does that make? Why are you going to attack me because I think this man is guilty? It's just my opinion. I
Right.
don't have any authority over the matter.
I mean, it's like they have their opinions, and do you see us attacking them over their opinions? No, we don't
No,
do that.
I just
We
shake
let
my head.
everybody, right. We just give them their entitlement to their opinion. That's all we do.
Because
We
that's
might
that's America
disagree.
right there. We should have both sides of the argument. I like the
Exactly.
fact that there's both sides, but I don't.
Exactly.
I think that their side should exist. They don't think that we should exist at all.
I mean, I'm willing to listen, but how far I'll listen, it's hard to say because, like I said, there's just too much stuff out there right now that's pointing right at him, and we cannot ignore that.
Yeah, and they're still talking about Kelsey and things like that. Like, really?
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, Kelsey was a kid
Becky,
at
they're
the
talking about
time.
Becky and Mike. I mean, I just feel like they can only reach out and grab what is at the right there for them. That's right within view. They can't find anything that's hidden. They can't find anything that's under the surface. There's nothing new for them.
Right.
They're just
Right.
grabbing at what they can see and they're trying to paint some kind of story out of it. It might be a good story. You might be good at putting things together, but there's just no facts. Because if anybody had a fact against one of those family members, I would stand right next to you to make sure that justice is, served properly. But you have no facts. You can't take that kind of a leap of blaming a family member unless you have something to say about that. That isn't involving the song Heathens playing when she dropped off the girls. You need more.
Oh, right. Exactly. Come on, man. I mean, everybody used to listen to that song. Come on.
It was
You
number
know?
one.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, like I said, Kelsey was a kid. And if anybody can go back 7 years, remember exactly word for word what they said, you're a genius. But I haven't found anybody in my lifetime that can go back 7 years and remember exactly what they said word for word. I can't even remember what I said last week alone 7 years ago.
Same goes with the sketches. Like you didn't know you were supposed to keep keep this guy's every detail in your mind for later. No, you're
Right.
going back after the fact. Somebody you just completely forgot. Now he's got curly hair and he looks young.
Right.
It sucks
So,
that that's the human element right there.
but like I said, dude, I just wanted to come on real quick and voice my opinion on. I don't believe there will be a trial. I think he's going to end up doing a change of plea sooner or later. When it happens, we just don't know.
I think so too, and I think Keegan Klein might be involved in all of that at some point.
I believe that's the reason why he was moved up to Michigan City.
Me too.
I believe he was moved to Michigan City because he is working with the state on this Delphi case. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you.
So, but get with me, bro. We'll do something together, and I'll be in the chat watching, bro.
All right. We're pretty much out of time anyway, so I appreciate you coming on, Frank. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you.
Take care.
Yep.
What's going on, Ruckus? All right, guys, we are all out of time. I'm going to catch up on the chat, and then I got to get out of here. CJK. Fig is intelligent, successful, great, introspect, and they freak out. So jealous, it's repulsive. Yeah, they are repulsive. To see them get all worked up and emotional about this guy who's just another dude on YouTube doing his thing. And the fact that they target him like that, man, these people are so pathetic. And it's not even troubling. It's just kind of like at this point, I feel like we're in like some kind of lab and we're looking at these rats, right? We're just studying them at this point. Like, look at this rat. He's chewing a hole through the wall. He's got Fig's image posted up all over the wall over here. This rat's looking kind of, it's crazy. It's like we're studying you. That's how weird you are. You're like a lab rat. Somebody has their mind made up. Daisy, childish behavior, shake my head, grow up. It's like a flame for some of the moths. Jane, DP says, seems like any high profile case, they'd love to make it overly complicated. Occam's razor. Yeah, that's true. That goes with every case. Because you try to explain it. And during that process of explaining it, you're using everything that you have, right? You know the case facts. But the case facts are just floating right there on the top of the water. The truth is deep, deep down there somewhere at the bottom of the ocean. So you're going to have to put on your scuba tank, and you're going to have to put on your wetsuit, and you're going to have to put in some real work if you want any results. But these guys they don't want to put any of that work in. They're going to just go ahead and grab everything, collect what they have on the surface, and then they're going to paint some story with all of that connected in some weird way. And then they're going to go in their church, where they don't even believe the shit that they're saying, and they're going to preach it to you. And you're going to drink that Kool-Aid. And you're going to help build Jonestown for that great hurrah. All I have to say to you is good luck. It's crazy. It's almost desperate. All right, let's go to a couple more. Ruckus says there's really no movement on this case. That's why there's so much BS turmoil. Dr. Rosen. If you are against doxing, why do you collaborate with professional harassers like Robin Brudeau? I don't like the prof. Tara McCloskey. I don't like Mao either. They're both they're both blocked from my channel. You fucking moron. Another dipshit. I'll go ahead and nip that in the bud real quick. What an idiot.
You can read this.
How about that?
You're gonna cry in the car.
True crime time. Unfortunately, all of today's cases have conspiracies. Look at Idaho. Oh, yeah, that's another bad one. This case has given us things to look at, but take it all with a grain of salt. I agree, Sleuth. Yeah, I've noticed people trying to say, oh, Koberger's not the guy. It's just a personality type. DP says Richard Allen admitted he was wearing clothes like BG. That's not too much. He admitted to be there. That's huge. At the time as the girls. Well, now he's trying to backtrack, apparently. Admitting he kept guns and knives and never lent them. That's huge as well. And then the fact that they found that unspent bullet. To me, that's huge. You look like the guy on the bridge. You were there at the time they went missing. Witnesses saw you on the bridge. If that's you, right? They got to prove it's him. And then we found your unspent bullet that we can prove came out of your gun. It's a lot. It definitely doesn't merit, oh, this guy's being railroaded. No, it's more like this guy needs to be looked at and put on trial for this. Anna says, there is no reason that a lone wolf could not have done this crime. I agree. I mean, that is the most plausible thing. And maybe Richard Allen could tell us, what was going on if he did do it. Plus, sounds like victims were dragged into positions not carried by two or more men. I don't think Libby was moved at all. I think he had to go back and he just moved Abby. He brought her to where Libby was. So I think there were two separate crime scenes and he consolidated. Oh, that's a good point, Jeff. Jeff says you're the only one that can hear your inner monologue. If those thoughts are evil, causing you to plan evil, the easiest thing to do is just listen to them instead of involving another individual in the plan. Unless you planned it with somebody else. If you planned it together. Julia says, I don't know how, but I believe Richard Allen somehow knew the girls would be there and that they were specifically targeted. Yeah, when you look at all the information and if all of what we know is true, right? Like the witness is saying that he was determined, he was walking with a purpose. I mean, why not just attack them right then and there and then flee through the woods? No, he was going somewhere. He was on that bridge and he was waiting for them, in my opinion. He knew that they were coming. He was highly motivated. That's my opinion. But the truth is, he's probably a lone wolf. And the reason he did this, only he can say. But if I look at all of the facts and everything, the picture I see is there's just a few pieces that we're not privy to. But once those fit nicely into the whole scheme of things, I think it's going to answer those questions. Yeah, shout out to all the callers. Ruckus says, I stopped covering this case altogether. It's childish the way some creators are acting. It's nothing there. Move on. All right, we're going to go to just a couple more of these, and then I got to get out of here, guys. Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, was out of town on that day when he made his move. Gone to brother's home to care for him. Went sick for a few days. Yeah, he had a lot of free time on his hands. Daughter had moved in with her fiance before they even got married. Like, sorry, I'm out of here, guys. I'm going to go move in with my soon-to-be husband. That's got to be tough for a father. Tough. So there's one blow. And then his brother-in-law passed away. I don't know. I just have a feeling financially, he might have been struggling. We know that did it for the BTK. He told profilers after he was arrested that the fact that his wife was making more money than him made him feel powerless. And he started killing again after like 8 years. We know this is about power to you. What's up, David? He was at the crime scene. I mean, it could all be circumstantial. For me, it's the bullet. And I think it's going to be that way for the jury and maybe a few pieces of information that we haven't been privy to. Hey, Shadowbox, what's up? Let's go to Shadow. I'm wondering if KK was let go for so long due to an oversight. Seems those are rather prevalent in this case. And that is what they stated, that it was an oversight. That's what they said. They said some issue with the paperwork. I do not believe that. Just like I don't believe that they lost that tip narrative. I don't buy that either. Non-secular would be the opposite of pagan. Be like crosses and things like that. Gail makes a good point. Gail McCauley, he could have controlled the girls with a gun easily. That is plain and simple. That's true. He could have. You can control grown folks. We know that Thomas Bruce, he was able to assault 3 women at one time. 3 grown women. He controlled all 3 of them. And all he did was walk into a store. He had no plan, no nothing. He walked in there, forced them in the back room. He told one of them to do something, gave her an order. She said, "I'm not doing that." It was a sexual demand. She says, "I'm not doing that." And he shot her instantly, without hesitation, and looked to the next girl, gave her the same instruction. They both followed those instructions 100%. So, yeah, that is 100% true, Gil. Could have been that simple. He had a gun. And the thing about the gun is I feel like he knew that it was there for intimidation. The last thing he was planning to do is use that gun. He never intended to use the gun. Why? Because if he squeezed that trigger, the whole town's going to hear it. They're going to have a timeline. They're going to have a location of where they heard it. And they're going to be on edge after they hear it. He knew he couldn't squeeze that trigger. And at some point, I think the girls might have realized that. Like, he's not going to shoot us. Let's leave. Let's get out of here. Not realizing that he wasn't ever going to let them leave. What's up, Renee? Ziggy. Only one person saw the young guy at a distance, but 3 girls saw Richard Allen and even said he saw them. Yeah, that's another good point. That piece of information is huge. Now, the only thing they're going to argue about in court is the timeline about it all. What time was that? Was he coming or going? Was he leaving at 1:30? You know, those are the small details that they're gonna work on during that trial. Ruckus says the main item of evidence that the defense wants tossed is that MC cover. Could be. That's what they found during the search. I guess that kind of goes into the whole garage theory, or possibly him coming back to the scene of the crime. Not sure. Honestly, I don't think there might be nothing to that. Yep. V says maybe they knew KK wasn't a huge threat. And I also believe that they knew they could monitor him. His MO was sextortion online. I think they knew it'd be easy to monitor him online. Wasn't a huge threat, but they were trying to connect a few close to him. I agree. I think they were hoping that after a year or two, he would be so comfortable that he might reach out to the killer, or vice versa. And then they got what they need. All righty, guys. That's it. If you could hit the like button on the way out. If you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment. Let us know what you thought about today's live stream. Shout out to everybody who called in today. I appreciate you. Great calls. Thank you again. We'll do this again real soon, I promise. Ooh, shout out to Mel. What's up, Cold Truth? Always late, but I'm here for it. Hope everyone is doing good and had a good holiday. I had a great holiday. I hope you had a great holiday and a great New Year's. Good to see you. What's up, GP? Silas, how you doing? The footnote on the defense memorandum said that the wardens hadn't actually threatened him to confess, just that it was a possibility. Caricature, it's not an F. I don't think it is. How hard is it to draw an F? Is this guy illiterate or what? Did he forget? Alrighty, guys. Sorry I couldn't get to all of your comments. I do apologize. This will be the last one since I always skip Shadow. The same people crying that he's not going to get a fair trial are the same ones saying he's innocent. Yeah, I don't understand how you can be on one side of the spectrum and then complain about the complete opposite. That gives me a headache too. It's ridiculous. Alrighty, everybody. Have a great day. We may or may not go live later today for a quick Sleuth Crew check-in. I'll let you guys know. But otherwise, we're on schedule tomorrow, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for members only. And I'll see you then. Everybody have a great day. Be safe. Peace.